All right, so we get tons of questions on how to control weeds in our perennial plots, especially here where you're getting a lot of rain in the spring and the weeds are really starting to become an issue.
Yeah, you know, in this late part of the winter, early part of the spring, you've got a lot of winter weeds, so to speak. They're just sitting there primed up with all this moisture, and then as soon as the soil temperature warms up, they just take off, and a lot of times they outgrow, you know, the clover that you planted last year, or the alfalfa or chicory, whatever you got. So identifying those weeds early and then getting the proper herbicides lined up to spray them when the weeds or the grasses are still young, that's the key to really good kill, is making sure you spray young while that plant's thriving.
So is there somewhere that you should go once you identify what the weed is, what type of herbicides you should be using?
Yeah, you know, if you plant one of the Biologic blends, you know, make sure you contact us and tell us what you planted and ask us, hey, what kind of herbicide can I use over this particular blend or planting. You know, we've got the weed reaper that can be used over all the legume crops, whether it be a clover, a chicory, an alfalfa, beans and peas. Our weed reaper can be sprayed over those to kill any grasses, because it's a grass-specific herbicide, so it's only active on grasses, and that keeps all those from competing with your perennial food plot.
And so April is kind of the time of year that you want to implement that.
Yeah, you know, and it really can go a little bit backwards or forwards depending on how early or late of a spring we have, because sometimes those weeds seem like they get an early jump on us, but that's where visiting your food plots and being familiar with, hey, what kind of weed that is, and if you don't know, you know, ask your local soil conservation guy, what is this weed? And, you know, then we can help you get the right herbicide.
If you're a little late in the game and getting that weed reaper out there, is there kind of a cutoff period where it's too late, or can you, at any time of the year leading into the summer, still try to get that stuff out?
Yeah, you know, grasses are killed a little bit easier in food plots than broadleaf weeds are, but what you don't want is grasses that are already almost to a seed stage, and then you spray them, because once they start getting to that seed stage, they're really not uptaking any more moisture or nutrients, and therefore they don't uptake herbicides. So, you know, the cutoff period is really relative to what variety it is. So if it's overgrown, you may want to mow it first, get some fresh growth going, and then spray that fresh growth.
Makes sense. All right, that is your Gamekeeper tip of the week. This segment of DoD TV is brought to you by Mossy Oak Gamekeepers, your ultimate resource for wildlife and land management.